Good morning! And happy Wednesday, you guys. It is Wealth Wednesdays. And today we have an abundance of coffee.
An abundance.
Man. These episodes are so much better with coffee. Which coffee did you make?
Vanilla. Mm-hmm. Vanilla.
Welcome to the show, you guys. Today we'll be talking about what does 10x mean to us? You heard us talk about 10x a lot.
Why to us? Because this show is not about us. That's going to be backwards to them. But
They can read it.
They can read it. But why what 10x means to us? Because we cannot take a concept and tell anybody else what it means to them. Mm-hmm. But we can, through our own experience and our own thoughts and our own expertise, say what it means to us to hope, in hopes that it will bring value and ideas and perspective to you, so you can apply it in your life however it works best for you.
Amen. So,
Amen. Let's get some natural.
Why do we have these conversations?
Wow.
Why do we have these conversations anyway? It's always important to go back to the root of it, and it goes back to the concept of money, wealth, and worth. Money is basically the amount of cash that you have available to you, how liquid you are. Wealth is what is the overall worth of the things in which you own. So it could be a lot of things that you have. It could be assets, investments. But here's the thing. There are a lot of people in this world, most people in this world don't have enough money and are poor in the sense that, like, from a money availability standpoint, they're poor. They don't have enough money, but also that all starts because from a mindset standpoint, they are poor.
I just had a really wild thought.
Do you want to write it down so I can finish my point?
I didn't know if you were finished with your point.
No. But then most of the other people that you guys know, because I remember when we started doing these conversations, you guys, it seems as if a lot of people were resistant to it, but now you guys are starting to embrace it. Because most of the people in which, like growing up, like when you thought about money, you thought about greed. And you thought about, doing malicious things and like correlating, wealth with like boats, yachts, like with drug dealing and doing unethical shit. And that's definitely not what this is about. Wealth is about creating a rich life in the sense of abundance. Here's the thing, and Sam Bakhtiar said it, and I love the way he said it. Like, you can't be happy if you get an eviction notice.
He was talking about money can't buy happiness, but he's saying, like, people would disagree with that. Money can't buy you happiness, but he's like, I would disagree, because tell me how happy you are if you're getting evicted because you don't have money to pay for your rent.
I believe that money can buy you happiness because there's a lot of people out there who do have a significant amount of money and are just living like a sad, lonely life. But the purpose of these conversations is to give you the tools to create a life that is rich and whole. And I don't care like how happy you are. If your bank account is not in alignment with everything that you're creating, then you're limited. And you can't live an abundant life like that. So the purpose of these conversations is to provide you education with regards to money, because let's face it, the reason why so many people have money problems is because they're not educated, and the only thing that they learn about money is based off of what they hear from their parents. And let's face it, our parents know shit about money. I don't fucking care. Unless they're wealthy and have proven to maintain their wealth through assets and investments for decades, you should not be taking advice from your parents. However, this is where all of our money concepts come from.
It's just simply, you shouldn't take advice on anything from anybody who isn't proving that is their level of believability.
Yes, absolutely. Like, unless you practice what you preach and you can prove it, then no, you should not be taking advice from that person, because that person is not qualified.
And if you can prove it through long-term, multiple cycles of
life,
economic, highs and lows, or general life highs and lows. So it's like anybody can be successful under good conditions, right? Under the right circumstances. But can you then be successful? And this word success is used so like wildly and like broad that it's like you determine your success. Success, we've determined, is the achievement of a purpose or intention. Mm-hmm. And so whatever that means, but it's easy to have success or find success or what am I trying to say? It's easy to be successful in the right conditions. But the people who are successful in that same degree in the worst of circumstances are the ones that are the most credible to follow and take advice from.
So, the purpose of these conversations is to bring into alignment money, wealth, and worth. Because here's the thing. If you have a shit ton of money, and let's say you're wealthy, not just on the outside. Most people in America look a certain way on the outside, but they're actually poor because they're in just a lot of consumer debt. That is the worst place to be in. Now, if let's say you have a lot of money, but on the inside you feel empty, then you can't live a rich life. You can't live an abundant life, and there's a missing link. Now, most people are on the other side of the spectrum. So like out of most of the people who are wealthy, their life is empty. Like broken marriage, broken relationships, broken body, whatever. No bueno. Okay, now then the other side of the spectrum is people who just have broken everything. Broken body, broken bank account, broken life. But the concept of these conversations is to allow you to bring it full 360. To allow you to live an abundant life in the sense that, yes, you will have more money in your bank account. Yes, you will have more means to live an abundant life. But I don't care how much money you have. If you're not happy about yourself, if you do not feel confident about yourself, and this is something that I'm going to say that's going to sound really blunt. If you are in pain and if you are putting on clothes and they don't feel right, I don't care how many millions of dollars you got, you feel like a piece of shit.
What do you mean by pain?
In your joints. Like if your body is in pain.
Physical pain.
If you go in the mirror and like things just look not right and...
That would be mental pain.
Right.
Okay.
Then it doesn't matter how much you've got in your bank account or what your investment portfolio looks like. Even if you've got that, then you're still not living a life that's whole, complete, and abundant. And the point of this is to really bring it in full circle. I believe that nobody wants to lose weight for the sake of saying, because when I step on a scale and I weigh 155 pounds, my life will be perfect. No, it's because you want to feel a certain way because it symbolizes something that's bigger than yourself. An accomplishment of something, increased confidence with regards to achieving something that you were never able to achieve before. But we need to create alignment with regards to all of that. And that is the purpose of these money conversations. And honestly, this is what we're on a quest for, because having a good body is a means to understanding that you're capable of doing anything. But if you're in a position where you're not allowing yourself to live your best life in an abundant way, then you're still limited. So the point of this is to open up your mind and really give you permission to live a rad life, because life is so limited and life is so precious. Okay, go.
Wait, are there any more reasons why we do this? I'm pretty sure you said the reason for these conversations, followed by something else you said like 6 times.
Yeah.
But let's get into those reasons. So the thoughts that I had as you were talking were like, what are all of these things? What are all of these things? Like, let's just take whatever raw form from our view of what these are. Like, what is money? Currency. Like, money is simply an exchange. I want something, so I give up this something to get that something. Simply an exchange. Okay? Then, so whatever other attachment you want to put onto money is up to you. But money in itself is an exchange of currency. Or currency to be exchanged for goods. Instead of trading your ox or your donkey for a bag of rice, you give money. Right? So it's currency. Wealth. So we talk about money, wealth, and worth. Wealth, full wealth is how long can you live without working? How long, with currently how much money you have, how long can that sustain you for all of your expenses and your lifestyle without working? When you don't have to work, you have that full financial wealth. Mm-hmm. Worth is wealth of your mind.
Oh, shit.
That is mental worth. Now, your worth, people talk about net worth, okay, after everything you owe or you've paid for or expenses or whatever debt. What is your net worth? I could frankly give a shit. But what is your mental worth? Because your mental worth will determine any other kind of worth or wealth or money that you have. And this is like a mindset conversation mixed in with a money conversation. But
well, money is mindset.
Everything is mindset. But if you take... so then what I thought about is going back to you talking about how our thoughts about money or wanting more money or greed or selfishness, it's the attachment that you put on why people want money. Because what is the intention? I want to leave a motherfucking legacy. I want to create generational wealth so that the blood behind us can continue with good habits, can continue helping the world, can continue making an impact and making a difference and extending that legacy. That is why I want a shit ton of money. Now, it's the attachment that we put on it. So let's now look at all of the philanthropists and let's look at everybody who has a shit ton of money. They didn't get it by accident.
Yeah.
And if they did get it by default, they didn't keep it by accident. So when you have, when you give and give and give, it's like people see and put more attention on the negative than the positive. So we see the people who, you know, I would say waste their money, not making a positive difference, right? Spending it on, like, I immediately think of The Wolf of Wall Street, and Jordan Belfort, like when he went through that phase of like just buying drugs and hookers, and like people see shit like that and they're like, oh, if you want a lot of money, it must be because you're like that. Bitch, you put that attachment on me. That is not why I want money. It is not bad to want a lot of money, because money provides opportunity to help, to experience life, I want to travel because I want to understand how other people live, because I know in America, I'm entitled. Or not entitled, I'm privileged. Fuck entitlement. God damn it.
Yeah, don't be
I'm
entitled.
privileged. I'm privileged. I did not knock on the inside of my mom's vagina and say, please, please, let me come out, a privileged white girl. But I understand and recognize that I am. And if I don't have money, I can't go to other parts of the world to see how other people live and have a respect and appreciation for what I have. So why do you want money? Why do you want wealth? Because with that intention is what matters, not how much you actually have. Some people are truly, truly fulfilled not having a great deal of financial wealth. And that's not for me to say what you should or shouldn't have. This episode and this conversation is for the people who do want to get their hands on a lot of money. But I will tell you, if you want to get a lot of your hands on money, then if your intention is not pure, you can go fuck yourself.
Yes.
However, I don't believe that's the case for most of you guys.
Because you have to be completely unreasonable and unrealistic, and you have to work your ass off in order to get there. So like if your intentions are not pure, then in my opinion, you're thinking from the ego. And when somebody's thinking from the ego, as soon as you face discomfort or pain, you're going to stop. Because again, if you're being led by ego, then ego is only going to do what feels comfortable, what will give you instant gratification, what comes easily, blah, blah, blah.
What's in it for you? What's
Yes.
in it for you? What's in it for you? What's in it for you? That's the ego. How does this benefit me? I was actually reading this morning. Everybody has their own interest in mind, without a doubt. Let's get over that. We have our best interest in mind, 1,000%. Guess what? By growing this community and showing people that we have the answer, how many of you have given us some of your money? Mm-hmm. How many of you have given us some of your money? But in exchange for that, what have we given you?
Yeah.
You see, so yes, I want your money. Of course. However, I want to earn it. I want to deserve it. Because free money is disrespected. Free money doesn't mean shit.
Yep.
You get free money and you fucking blow it. Somebody doesn't have good money habits, they win the lottery, they go bankrupt.
Yep.
So our goal is for any amount of money that somebody gives us, that we over deliver. Now, it's your job to show up to receive the over delivery.
Yep.
But if you're truly making an impact, then wanting a lot of money is a very, very good thing for you to desire, because that means that your intention in getting the money and your intention on what you're going to do with it are both really good things that help people.
And the opportunities that you can create for yourself and for others.
Mm-hmm. Right? Like
shout out to the people on our team. Like, look, if we didn't get money from you guys, there's no way in hell we'll be able to pay our team. Just saying.
Right.
But
like
it's
providing other jobs for people. And there was something else, but Boogie sounds like he's having some wild dreams over there. And it distracted me.
Boogie has is wealthy because he has a high self-worth. So now here's the thing, you know, financially you could be wealthy without having high self-worth. You know, wealth is something that you could be born into. It's not always created. Most of the times, you know, if you're like 90% of this country, it's gonna be something that you will have to create for yourself. If you're like, yes, I'm committed, you know, I believe that regardless of what state I'm in, I'd rather be wealthy, then you're gonna have to put in the work. It ain't gonna be easy. It's not gonna happen overnight.
You either have to put it in to get it, or you gotta put it in to keep it.
But if you are wealthy but your self-worth is low, then man, your life is still gonna be limited. And to us, living a 10x life is to being able to experience all of that. Because why not? Why not live your best life if you know that you're alive? Why not do everything that you can in order to create that for yourself? And that's why we sound so radical, because life is so precious. Like, why live in a sick and overweight body if you can have a badass body? Why be in a mediocre relationship if you can be in a badass relationship? Why financially struggle if you know that money is abundant? So first things first, there is no lack of money on this planet. There's an abundance of money. However, in order for you to generate more money or receive more money, we can't generate it, the government generates it.
Somehow.
You have to add more value to more people. A salary ain't gonna give you that shit. And again, this goes back to Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
He's the one who inspired my understanding of true wealth.
Yeah, the 4 quadrants. Like,
well, true wealth in a sense that, like, you don't have to work. You're out of the rat race, which is what he calls it.
Yeah.
In the rat race is you still rely on your income to pay for either like basic necessities or your lifestyle preference. Getting out of the rat race is where you've reached full wealth, where your passive income exceeds your expenses and your lifestyle preference. So you don't need to work. The money is legit flowing to you because of all the work you've done prior. Mm-hmm. And a 10x life is truly limitless. Mm-hmm. And there's this like concept of freedom that I've had in my mind for quite some time that I don't think I've really like expressed, but freedom is what everybody's looking for.
Yes.
And freedom is limitless. There's no limit because it's freedom. And so you have mental freedom, which means nothing can hold you back here. You can overcome any obstacle mentally through your mindset. You have spiritual freedom to believe and have faith in whatever you want. You have physical freedom, where you live, what your body is capable of, your independence physically. You have emotional freedom. Nobody's abusing you emotionally. And you have control of your state, your emotional state, regardless of what is happening at the moment. And you have financial freedom. Unlimited amount of money to do whatever you want, whenever you want, however you want, with whoever you want, for however long you want.
And relational freedom. Being able to basically having the choice to spend time with whomever you want.
I would say that's physical too. But, I mean, regardless, like, 10x life is I'm going to go above. Your face is really glowing. We're going to go, we're going to set our standard in the stars. Mm-hmm. Gosh, my hair is... Your hair is everywhere. I think that's a song. Anyways, so 10x is, and this is this concept and this movement from Grant Cardone. If you guys have ever read
the 10x rule.
The 10x rule. It's this idea of setting your goals 10 times the size. Not expecting, or I don't want to say not expecting to get there, but not expecting it to be achieved immediately, but more like to dream. For me personally, and I know that this is where we have some difference in our preference or opinion of how this concept works for us, but 10x is like taking a goal that you have. He's talking about take 10x action. If you're going to call one person, call 10 people. If you're going to, I'm trying to relate this to like your guys' work. If you're going to,
like if you say that you want to lose 10 pounds, like set that goal by times 10. With weight, it doesn't have to be that way, but how many times have you heard somebody who said, oh, I want to lose 10 pounds, and they actually like achieved this goal and they maintained it and they grew from it? Not a lot of people. Why? Because their goals were too small.
So hold on. Okay. So it's not necessarily the literal number. Mm-hmm. It's you not settling. It's reaching further, reaching higher, expecting more of yourself, expecting more of the other people. And I think that that's why we attract a certain number of people and we repel a different amount of people. Because people will not agree. You're too harsh. You're too this, too that, whatever. I'm like, that's okay. That's not for you. You don't need to listen to us. I'm not offended by it. That's okay. There are people out there for you who want to be mediocre. I don't.
Most people do.
And I don't want anybody in our community to want to be mediocre. Like, we have one life, y'all. Y'all. I know Tammy's like, she said y'all. Oh my God. And all the Texans are like, oh my God, did you hear she said y'all? Anyways, but 10X is like the action that you take is, and this is can also be a slippery slope, but it's like do more, be better, achieve more. But at the same time, you have to understand the balance within that, because if you're constantly, and I know that several of you are like this, where you're like, I'm really hard on myself. Good. But you also have to understand that you need to be kind to yourself. Because when you are hard on yourself, and when you do expect more of yourself, and when you do expect to be better, and you expect to do more, it's very easy to be dissatisfied in a negative way, not dissatisfied in the overall picture. Like, I want to achieve more. Great. But it's easy to skip past what you've accomplished when you have that mindset. Yes. So I will caution anybody who's like, yes, I want to live a limitless life. I want to 10x everything. If my money goal is, an extra $100 this month, shit, I'm going to make it an extra $1,000 this month. 10x, right? Is that 10x?
Yeah.
I'm not a mathematician, but I'm pretty sure the calculation on that's not too difficult. Anyways, but it's then when you fall short of that, it's like, would you rather fall short of something that was like crazy wild, but exceed what would have been had you not set that target? Mm-hmm. So it's all of this balance between like do more, be better, achieve more, take more action, within also understanding to take a step back every once in a while and say, look at what I've accomplished, so that you don't just beat yourself up. This is something that we run into often, where it's like, We've achieved so much and we have everything to be grateful for. But when you have that mindset, it's easy to get trapped into, I'm not doing enough. Mm-hmm. And you have to then rationalize and say, like, where's the line? What is enough? And as long as I'm above it, then really, truly, like, I can't be upset at myself if I've given it my all.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between focusing on your actions versus focusing on the outcome. Because when you're so focused on an outcome and you don't reach it, you then have to say, okay, but what actions did I take and was it my best effort?
Yeah. And constantly recalibrate. So 10x, it's a state of living, which means that it's also a state of thinking. But 10x living is a way of life. It is a standard. It's a standard of living life in the fast lane. It's a standard of not sweating the small stuff. Like, let's say you set a goal, like your initial goal is, I want to save up $100 per month. Okay, it's too low. Times that by 10. But then let's say if you take action and you ended up saving up $300 a month instead of 100, then now you accomplished what was your initial goal 3 times as fast. See where I'm going with that? So the point is never to reach 10x, because once you start getting within the vicinity of that goal, you times it by 10 again. But it's a state of thinking that allows you to live in the fast lane, because instead of, adding, you're thinking in the state of multiplying. And therefore, you're able to achieve more by thinking bolder. By thinking bolder, you're changing the standards to take more action.
Yes, because if you 10x a goal,
yeah,
you're not going to get there by keeping the same amount of action.
Right.
So you've got to 10x the amount of action. So I think it's a motivator. For me, it's very much a motivator, where it's like, okay, shit, this is the goal. And your brain starts getting creative. Okay, how can I reach that goal? It's crazy. It's way out there. And you start like thinking outside the box. Like, what could I possibly do? Like when we asked you guys, it was several weeks ago, when we were like, who can make an extra money today? What was the dollar amount that we gave them? There was like it was like, who can make an extra $1 today? Or who can make an extra $10 today? And just thinking like, okay, how could I make 10 more bucks today? I challenge you. Try to make an extra $10 today somehow.
Yes. And when you do that, drop a post in the group. So we see how you did it.
And 10 times 365, if you did it every day of the year, you're just like, how can I get 10 more bucks today? Like, can we all agree that that's like achievable? Right? So if you make 10 extra dollars, it was $5 that we said, great, we're upping it to 10. But if you were to do that for 365 days, what is that? $3,650. Who would like an extra $3,600 this year? That's just $10 a day. But when you don't set the target,
you never get there.
You don't take any action to get there. So now for some things it doesn't work clearly. If you're like, I want to lose 10 pounds, 100 pounds just isn't a realistic goal. So you have to understand like what.
But imagine if you had the sense of urgency to think like, no, my goal is not 10 pounds. Let's say my goal is 50. You're gonna focus on being as consistent as possible, and you're gonna therefore reach your weight goal faster.
But this is a money conversation.
So
if we're talking about money and you're like, okay, I want to make X number of dollars a month, times it by 10.
Yeah.
And imagine, just allow yourself to dream. Don't be like, oh, that's impossible, because you will never get it.
Yeah.
Do not say that.
Yeah.
Somebody commented on one of our things and was like, I would never pay 10 grand for any event. I was like, that's why you're never going to be fucking rich.
Was that for Ben Oberg's thing?
No, I think it was like our diamond tickets to GrowthCon.
Oh yeah.
That's because your mindset's messed up, bruh.
Yeah. It's because,
and guess what? When you earn it and you have a surplus and you can invest 10 grand in an event like that, still tell me you're not going to.
well, you also nobody gets a diamond seed without an intention. There's an intention behind it that you know it'll come back tenfold.
Of course, but it's also the mindset of like, oh, I would never pay 10 grand for a seat. That's because you can't fathom what it would be like to spend that type of money. For us, it's not an expense, it's an investment.
Yes.
It's an investment in our network, because your network is your net worth. And I will pay to spend time with certain people. I will pay money to be in the presence of the people who can move me in the direction I want to be, because eventually there will be a great ROI.
Yep.
But when people don't understand that or have an intention or a purpose to why they're putting that kind of money into something, then you don't, of course you wouldn't fathom that. And now I saw a comment that says you got to spend money to make money. And I disagree, but you do have to spend money to make a shit ton of money. Mm-hmm. You don't have to spend money to make money, but you have to spend money if you want to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because we were negative for the first like 2 years of our business. So we didn't have much money to spend on things. Mm-hmm. But we like grassroots and hustled everything. Literally went from gym to gym. Like, hey, we're Erin and Sarit. Like, nobody knows. Here's a little pamphlet that looks ghetto as fuck. Can we do a free seminar? You know, like literally we would do, and we're like, okay, wow. Like we got 4 people paying $150 a month. Ooh. You know, and it was like exciting, but we worked hard for it. And now we have money to put into things like advertising, and we have strategies, and we have purpose, and we have intention. So you have to have money if you want to make a lot of it. Yes.
You do need to have more money in order to make more money, because here's the thing. The most limited resource that you have is time. And if you want to make an impact on more people, you need to create systems and you need to have people. Because all we have is 24 hours in a day. So you have to invest money in order to leverage your time, whether it's through other people, whether it's through technologies and systems. It's not just going to happen by you. It's about working hard, but also working smarter. You can be the hardest worker in the room, but if you keep on working hard and just exhausting yourself, then you're not getting ahead in life.
We were, and to be quite honest too, like I look back and I'm like, I remember how excited we were to achieve those things. Totally. But I look back now and it's all relative. Like everything is relative. But be grateful every moment along the way. So at that point where we are now, that isn't a big deal.
Yeah.
But it was a very big deal. Mm-hmm. And it was hard earned. And so it's good to recognize and understand your perspective. Understand also how other people's perspectives may be different. You guys, you might agree, you might not agree. And that's okay. Mm-hmm. But our hope is to provide the inspiration, the tools, the strategies, and the mindset required if you want to achieve great amounts of money, wealth, and worth.
Yeah. So 10x living, it's a standard that, you know, really encourages you to live an abundant life physically, relationally, spiritually, financially, mentally, like all the means. So, you know, before we leave you guys off, you know, we want to give you an action step so you can kind of like measure, okay, where am I at right now? So you have to understand that this standard of living starts in here. Everybody can create it, and it's not going to happen overnight. Okay? It's definitely not for everybody because it's hard. It really is hard. You have to be the hardest worker in the room for the longest time possible, but you have to have a big purpose in order to live that way. So, going to you and where you're at right now, okay, ask yourself, where am I being? So there is different forms of living. A 1X form of living is having money simply for what you need. So if you're like, we had the cash flow conversation. If you're like not really cash flowing anything and you only make enough to pay your bills, then you're living a 1X form of life. And chances are is that if you're living this way, then you have scarcity mindset because money is limited and you feel limited in a lot of ways. So if you are...
It's very likely that your thought about money is that it's limited or difficult to acquire.
Yes. And chances are is that you probably trade your time for money as well. Which is not the most effective way of living, but that doesn't mean that you can't expand into the next stage. So knowing that, ask yourself, doing the cash flow exercise, what is my income? What are my expenses? For one, I hope that everybody who's listening to this is at least 1X. If your expenses are bigger than your income, then you're at -X. And
if you're what?
If your expenses are greater than your income, then you're just going down like in a loophole. And we need to change that. You guys have to get income. You have to get income.
I would say first start by not being afraid.
Right.
Don't be afraid to get money.
Well, you can't get money if you don't have courage.
And also fear, like the fear of asking people for money that you're providing a help
Value.
or a service or a product or some kind of value for, you shouldn't feel bad about. Mm-hmm. When we try to involve as many of you as possible into any of our various programs, take the transformation. There were some people that got mad. I don't know why you're pushing so hard to blah, 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 because I know this can change your life. Shame on me if I don't. Mm-hmm. I'm not afraid to ask for your money if I know I'm going to give you what it's worth and more.
And if we know that we're actually undercharging.
But that's step one, is having the courage to actually ask for a sale. I don't know how many of you are in, and no matter what, we're either selling or we're being sold. And it can have to do with money or it cannot have to do with money. But if you have something of value that you give to somebody else, which we all do, we all have something of value. You are a genius in some way. Every single person has a genius. Whether you have found it or not, I don't know. But when you find that genius and you can provide value for somebody, please have the courage to ask somebody to compensate you for that value. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you have to give it for free to prove that it is valuable.
Yes.
Which is why we do free challenges. We have new people coming in our community all the time. We got to show you guys what we're capable of so you trust us. And that's only fair. Mm-hmm. Because especially in this industry, that's only fair. Like, let me prove it to you.
Yeah. Yeah. So 1X, you have simply enough for what it is that you need. Like traveling, investing in something, like that will mean that you don't have enough liquidity in order to make it happen, but it doesn't mean that you can't. You just have to be open-minded. The only way for you to take yourself from one state of living to the next starts in here. So for example, If you're like, shit, Sarit, you know what? My expenses are higher than my income, then guess what? What has to change is here. You got to find the courage. You got to take ownership. You got to start, you got to start getting more money. You got to start earning more money. Otherwise, it's only going to get worse. And is it any wonder why depression rate is so high and anxiety is so high? Because people actually don't know how to get out of where they're in. It is very much possible, but it's not easy.
I want to say something that I think inside my head, it's a very simple concept, and I think something that anybody can start on right away. But when I say it out loud, we're going to find out. What do you love doing? Mm-hmm. Like, do you love doing housework? Do you love yard work? Do you love gardening? Do you love knitting? Do you like making arts and crafts? Do you like cooking? Do you like playing with kids or animals? Whatever you like doing, go find the people that don't like doing that shit and offer to do it for them for compensation. Mm-hmm. Ta-da!
Yep.
Money. You're still trading time for money, but at least for one, you're being fulfilled. And for two, the next step would be finding a way to multiply and leverage your time to do more of that thing without it costing you as much time. So some of those things can be done virtually, some can't. You can make a shit ton of little gizmos and gadgets or magnets or I don't know, whatever fun thing you like doing, and then sell them on Etsy or sell them on Facebook Marketplace. You know, there are ways to do these things. I mean, if you like doing yard work, I don't know how to do that virtually, but you can find other people that like doing yard work, and you can leverage your time by paying them from the money that other people pay you to go do the yard work.
Okay, enough.
So anyways, that's one thing that is like, hey, what do you like doing? Find the people that don't like doing that stuff, offer to do it for them.
Okay, moving on to 2X. So 2X is financially having enough for what you want. So I would say most people, like average Americans, they strive to live a 2X life.
Like
now,
just enough.
Now, what is 2X in comparison to 10X? It's nothing. But just goes to show you how low people's standards are in general and why it is so important to expand your mind and also be in a supportive community that pushes you to be more, to be better. I would say 2X form of living is basically keeping up with the Joneses, you know, having, grass in your front yard, backyard, driving a cute little Beamer, maybe living in a nice house, going on vacations like once to twice a year. It's like you have enough to pay your bills, but then, you know, you have extra cash to do like fun shit.
I would say keeping up with the Joneses is not even, because normally a lot of people who want something because they want to look a certain way or they want other people to think that they have a certain amount of money or live a certain lifestyle actually go into debt to get those things.
Well, yes.
So I wouldn't even say it's 2X.
But externally, it's having enough for what you want.
Yeah.
We're not talking about the consequences of each of them.
But if you're using debt, do you really have enough to get those things or to do those things?
No. That's why 2X sucks.
2X to me says I'm in a surplus of something to a small degree. Because it is above.
2X is a surplus of problems, is what it sounds like. I would rather be in 1X than 2X.
Tomato, tomato, agree to disagree.
So, look, 76% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. 76% of Americans are living 1X. Okay? I would say that maybe like, I don't know the other stats, but probably 10% of Americans are living 2X.
I don't know where you got the 2X from, but
I got it from one of my mentors.
Which I thought, but unknowing and unbiased to what you heard, 2X to me sounds like I have enough. I don't have to go into debt for these things, but I still have money struggles here.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's not necessarily that I'm using debt and keeping up with the Joneses, but it's I have enough money, but I'm always struggling because in my mind I'm still stressed.
Yes.
Over money. It's
so let's.
like the next
you're
step.
right. You're actually, now that I'm thinking about it, you're right. So let's
Wait,
use
what?
Let's use a better example. So let's say you make $4,000 and you're like, you know what? Like I make $4,000 a month, Sari, and you know my monthly expenses are $2,000. So now here's the thing: if you were to leave your job for 30 days, you'll have enough money for an extra month. But after that, you're back to zero.
Yeah.
So it's not enough. And then the next form of living is 5X.
Ooh.
I would say that's keeping up with the Joneses.
No, keeping up with the Joneses is I don't have money to buy this shit. I'm going to buy it anyways. You're still at mediocre.
You're
1X.
right. You're right. You're right.
Because it means you don't have, if you want to be anything above 1X, you have to have more than.
True.
More money.
Okay, I'm going to stop it with that.
Than what you have. Than the things you have.
So, moving on to 5X. 5X is having enough for what you desire. So, now you're living better.
You are the Joneses.
Yes.
Other people are trying to keep up with you.
Yes.
Aha, you got a boat? I want to get a boat. Your kids got scooters for Christmas? I'm going to get my kids scooters for Christmas.
Yeah.
That's all ego driven. Actually, I used to be that way. Fuck me. I want a cool car because I want you to think I live a nice lifestyle. Meanwhile, I'm struggling to fucking pay the car payment. Oopsie. That's keeping up with the Joneses.
Yeah. Shit. And 10X is having enough for what you deserve. Mother Teresa lived the 10X life.
Having enough.
She collected millions of dollars to give to charity. Tell me that Mother Teresa was a bad person. The most influential people in life live a 10X life. Grant Cardone, Bill Gates.
They're
Oprah
also
Winfrey.
the craziest.
Yeah.
They're also the craziest. I like
Ellen gives away cars in her show. She deserves to live that way. She adds so much value to millions of people, and as a result, she's using it for a higher purpose.
I love it when Grant says be a super freak.
Super freak.
It took me a little while to like be okay with that, and I was like, you're right. Think of all like so many people that are unforgettable people. Mm-hmm. Unforgettable people are fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Whether they're crazy on the outside and you get to see it, like Kiss, like
Queen.
Freddie Mercury,
Gosh, so good.
like Michael Jackson. They're all crazy externally, but anybody that you remember, trust me, they're crazy still. Even if you can't see it, they're just on fire. They're on fire for a bigger purpose.
The athletes that we interviewed, they're fucking super freaks, you guys.
Boogie's a super freak.
Boogie's a super freak. We're
you hear
super
him?
freaks.
Can you hear that super freak? Wow.
That's why he's playing with a dog that's 3 times his size. He's a super freak. And
Is she super freaking?
And that's why he has super freak shoulder muscles. So how are you going to live your life? Look, 10X life is something that you have to create. We're giving you permission to do so, but you have to get outside of your own head in order to do so. Because it all starts in here and it all ends in here every single day. Actually, it starts in here and it ends in your actions.
I thought you were going to say in your ass because you started to point down. And I was like, where is she going with this?
Yeah.
Anyways, You guys, I challenge you to make $10 extra today. Just $10, actually.
So, I wonder, after having this conversation, where are you currently at? And where do you want to be?
I would write them down, like legit, like on a piece of paper, like where am I? And use your own terminology, use your own ideas. Don't just take what we say, because clearly we had some disagreements along the way anyway.
No, I appreciate you.
But have your own thoughts. Like, I challenge you to think for yourself too and say, is this true for me? Is this valid for me? And write down where you want to be, and don't apologize for it. You want to make $1 million a year? Good. Don't apologize for it. Nobody else gets to tell you how to live your life, or what you should or shouldn't do, or can and can't do. We're here to provide whatever is going to help you excel and be the best you possible. But you have to take it for yourself. I'm trying not to for a moment. Like, you have to understand that other people are going to see things differently than you, and that it's okay. But you can't let them and their ideas determine where you excel to.
Yeah.
Because Lauren W. actually made a post, I think it was in the Inner Circle about a week ago or so, that said, the way you live your life, I'm probably going to butcher this, but it was something along the lines of, the way you live your life is not a group decision. It is a solo decision.
You have to make a decision, though.
The only time I personally have a problem with it is if you are intentionally causing harm to yourself or somebody else intentionally. That's when I have an issue with it, and I would tell you, stop being an asshole. But otherwise, if you want to have purple fucking hair, have purple fucking hair. If you want to marry your dog, marry your dog. The way you live your life is not a group decision. It's not for your spouse to decide. I don't care. They're your spouse. She doesn't get to choose whether or not I like or want to go surfing. I don't get to choose whether or not she works until 8 p.m. when I'm ready to have dinner at 6. But there's a balance and communication. Okay, so figure out where you're at, where you want to be. Don't apologize for it.
I would love it if you guys can make a post. Make a post. This is where I'm at. This is where I want to be. This is what I have to do in order to get there.
What were you laughing at?
Daisy said that she made $4,200 while listening to this because the stocks went up. That's amazing. I freaking
Oh my gosh, I know.
I make more money when I listen to Erin and Sarit Wealth Wednesday conversations. Incredible, you guys. A couple of things before we close out today's episode. If you have any specific money questions, feel free to reach out to admin@erinandsarit.com.
And I want to give a shout out to Kayla Halfley right now, because this girl has fucking showed up.
Yes.
Since she came into our community. And Kayla, I want you to know, we see you. We don't, to achieve our mission, it's physically impossible for us to go and comment and love every single one of your posts, but we see you guys. We see you guys, and we see extraordinary posts because our team sends it to us as well, so that we don't miss those. Yeah. But Kayla, if you guys are struggling, man, how did I man, I don't want to bombard Kayla with messages from people, but you need to watch her. Just watch how she shows up. Watch how she interacts. Watch how she takes these challenges and accepts them. Watch how she takes action on her own life. Watch how she's taken ownership. Watch how she has helped take the knowledge and the transformation that she has had in her own life and transfers it to other people. Holy shit, the fulfillment you get from that is exactly what we are doing with you guys, and exactly why so many of you who have had transformation within our community now want to be coaches of ours.
Yep.
Several of you have reached out. Guess what? We're not going to take everybody because our standards are ridiculously high. But I will tell you, if you keep showing up in your life like Kayla has showed up over the last couple months, you will succeed in one community or another, but in your own life for sure. Mm-hmm. And she's not the only one, but she's just really exceptionally stood out to me lately. But there are several of you. So keep showing up, you guys. We see you. And that is the way that you will excel. Cool?
Yeah. If anybody has any specific questions, you can send an email to admin@erinsarit.com. You know, really our mission is to help. And, you know, with regards to the money game, we don't have a program yet. Last week we talked about money mentorship. That is definitely something that we're going to be launching in 2021. How this will evolve, we're not sure. But, you know, we will keep anything that you ask for, we will keep on providing and over delivering. Mm-hmm. But one thing is for sure, if you are taking action and you're actively going out of your way to seek help and you seem committed, we will do whatever we can with what we have right now to help you. Other than that, we will be traveling tomorrow and over the weekend. We will be away because we're actually going to go into Grant Cardone's office, which is super exciting. So there will be no live show tomorrow. There will be no live guest interview on Friday either, and we will catch back with you guys on Monday. Today's day 17 of the In Motion Challenge. Keep moving. We're gonna keep moving even when we're in Miami. I just want to freaking run on that boardwalk, or I don't even know where our hotel is, but I'm just freaking stoked.
Thank you guys for showing up. Have an amazing day. Finish your week strong.
One last thing. You guys, if these money conversations, if you have already gained value from it, whether it's in your mindset or you're you know what, you helped me to get out of debt or whatever, just do us a favor and pay the fee of sharing the love. We know that, you know, what we provide for you is worth so much, and we're not going to charge for it. This is just from our hearts to you because we know that this is what you deserve. We know that living a 10x life is what you deserve, and what your friends and loved ones deserve to have too is a 10x life. However, nobody can change a person other than themselves. And a lot of times we feel as if people are not taking action simply because they don't know what exists. So they're limited by their own fears and by their just lonesomeness. But if you're you know what, these girls are freaking fire, they're adding so much value to my life, do us a favor and just take 2 seconds out of your time and share it. We spend at least 6 hours with you guys every single week for free, and we're not going to charge for it. So just if you find it in your heart to just pay it forward, then we will be eternally grateful, because we know that life is too short to not live a 10x life. Why live a 1x life if you know that you have the opportunity of living a 10x life?
I meant and I meant.
There you go.
All right, guys.
We'll
have a great day.
See you next week.
Have a wonderful weekend. Go 10x all the stuffs.
Bye, guys.
Bye.